Good afternoon, Mr. Patman. I'm Haras, and this is my friend Azim. And today we will be interviewing you about intercultural communications. And first of all, we would like to thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be with you guys.
So for the first question, Mr. Patman, how have you experienced differences in verbal communication styles when interacting with people from different cultures?
Okay, yes, I've experienced notable differences in communication styles between Indians and Malays, especially in terms of directness. For instance, many of my Indian colleagues I've worked with tend to be more expressive and straightforward, saying things like, "This won't work" or "We should change this." In contrast, the Malay friends or the co workers are generally more indirect and polite in their feedback. They might say, "Maybe we can look at other ways," instead of outright rejecting an idea. At first, I thought the Malay team member was hesitant, but later I realized it was a form of cultural courtesy and harmony.
That's interesting. Can you give a specific example of a phrase, tone, or expression that caused confusion or required clarification?
Okay, yes. One time during a group project, the Indian member said this idea isn't practical, which felt blunt to the Malay member. Meanwhile, the Malay teammate said, "Let's explore more ideas," which subtly meant they weren't fully on board. We learned to read between the lines and valued both honesty and harmony in terms of discussions.
Thank you, Mr. Perman. That is a great answer. For question number two, can you share an experience where non-verbal communication led to misunderstanding in an intercultural setting?
Okay, yes, I once saw a misunderstanding when a Malay colleague lowered her gaze during a meeting with an Indian supervisor. In Malay culture, avoiding direct eye contact can be a sign of respect, especially with someone older or of higher status. However, the Indian supervisor interpreted this as a lack of confidence or interest. It caused confusion until someone explained the cultural meaning behind the gesture.
So how did you realize that the misunderstanding occurred, and what did you do to address it?
The supervisor later asked, "Is she not confident or not paying attention?" That's when another Malay colleague clarified that it was her way of showing respect. After that, the Indian supervisor changed his perception and even appreciated the cultural difference.
Okay, that's great. For the third question, how do you adjust your communication style when speaking with someone from a different cultural background?
I try to balance being respectful and clear. When speaking to Malay friends or colleagues, I soften my words and avoid being too direct. With Indian colleagues, on the other hand, I know being expressive and assertive is generally accepted, so I'm more open in my suggestions. I've also learned to be careful with tone and not interrupt, especially in Malay settings where politeness is emphasized.
That's great, Mr. Batman. Do you find it challenging to adapt your communication, and have you ever received feedback on your approach?
Yeah, at times I struggle to find the right balance. Once I was too casual with the Malay lecturer and later realized it might have come off as disrespectful. But now I try to mirror their tone and adjust based on their comfort level. I've also asked my close friends if I've been too blunt or too vague. It usually helps me improve.
Thank you, Mr. Batman. That's good to know.
For the fourth question, have you ever encountered a conflict due to cultural misunderstandings, and how was it resolved?
Okay, yes, during a university event, a misunderstanding occurred between an Indian and Malay student. The Indian student kept following up closely and asking direct questions, which made the Malay student feel pressured and uncomfortable. The Indian student thought he was being efficient, while the Malay student found it too forceful. Eventually, a mutual friend helped mediate and explain the different cultural approaches to communication and workplace.
And looking back, what would you have done differently to prevent or handle the situation better, Mr. Patman?
Looking back, I think we should have discussed the working styles earlier. If we had known the Indian student, if we had known, sorry, if we had known that the Indian student valued urgency, while the Malay student preferred a calmer, respectful pace, we could have compromised better. We learned to adjust tone and timing to maintain harmony while staying productive.
And for the last and the follow-up questions, how do you prevent saying the wrong things to someone from another culture?
Okay, I try to be culturally sensitive by avoiding slang or jokes that might not translate well between Indian and Malay cultures. I also still clear off topics like religion or personal values unless we're really close. With Malay peers, I speak more politely and avoid sounding too authoritative. With Indian friends, I still stay respectful but know they may be more open to lively discussion or debate.
And do you rely on research, experience, or asking questions directly to understand what might be sensitive or inappropriate?
Uh, I use both awareness and curiosity. For example, I learned that certain words that are normal in Indian conversation might sound harsh in Malay context. So I'm more careful with my tone. I also ask, how should I say this when I'm unsure? Most people appreciate the effort and are happy to guide me.
Thank you, Mr. Patman. That is all from us. And
Um,
Yeah.
we thank you for your time and for having us. Um,
I guess that's it for today. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Patman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Haras and Mr. Azim, for having me here. Thank you.